What's good, Buffs Nation? It's time to start talking about the positions, right? And the biggest question out there is, who's going to back up Shedeur? Then you follow that up with, who's going to be starting running back? Because we know that the running back room has been overhauled, so we've got to dive into both of those. So we're going to do them both. We'll start off with the quarterback spot, move into running back, and we will double up on all the positions going through the entire lineup up until game day. So sit back, grab your favorite snack. Let's dive into the previews for the position groups here on the Prime Time for College Football. All right, first and foremost, we've got to jump into the quarterback room because, of course, we know Deion Sanders is returning. He had a fantastic season last year, 3,200 yards, and only 3 picks. That's a huge deal, especially in the grand scheme of things, because a quarterback being able to put up those type of numbers and have that low of a touchdown interception ratio, that's massive for what they're trying to do this coming season. And so, but you got to understand who the person is right behind him. And I think right behind him, Ryan Staub is going to do well. Redshirt freshman out of California. He's the one that started in the Utah game, did pretty solid. And the good thing about him in that game is he didn't have no turnovers, right? He threw 40 passes last season as a redshirt and 0 interceptions. That's massive in this system because Shedeur has done that, right? Shedeur last season, again, 3 interceptions all season long. He does a very good job of taking care of the ball. So for them to be successful, Shedeur is, of course, going to have to lead the way. He's considered a top 5 draft pick. Everything's going to hinge on his shoulders because he's going to be the one running things. And I think that Pat Shurmur, and Shedeur mentioned this in an interview recently, that Shurmur had done a good job of leveraging his skill set and really diving into what makes him good. And because he's doing that, I'm sensing that Shedeur overall is going to be ready to make it happen this coming season. And so Shedeur is prepped at quarterback. But I like seeing Ryan get some reps. He'll probably get some reps in some early games, especially if they're blowouts, so that he can, keep himself warmed up for the entire season. He's definitely going to be QB2 for this squad. Now, of course, you've got some transfers that came in, Walter Taylor as well as Destin Wade. Got a couple of guys there to really consider when it comes to who's going to, back up and be at third. I think that's kind of up in the air, in my opinion, right? There's a lot of questions about which one could be it. To me, I'm sticking with Ryan, and I'm sticking with Shedeur, and we'll just let the back half work itself out, right? But y'all tell me what y'all think. How do y'all feel about Pat Shurmur leading things with Shedeur? Hop in the comments. Love to hear from you all. All right, so that is your quarterback room. Pretty simple, straightforward, not too much fluff on there because we already know what that's going to look like. Now, running back room is going to be a little bit different because it's funny because you bring in the transfer, Dalen Hayden from Ohio State, and he come in, which is kind of interesting. Note, back to the quarterbacks, he mentioned that he feels like Shedeur is up there in the CJ Stroud realm. He feels like they emulate each other, play similar ways, very business-oriented and all of that. And, of course, Hayden would know. His freshman year, he played with CJ, rushed for over 100 carries. He had like 111 to be exact, 553 yards that season as a freshman. That's huge, right? Like, he was the guy. Then his sophomore year, he didn't run as much. He ended up not getting – I think he played like only 3 games in the redshirting that season. And he mentioned in an interview how frustrating it was for him on that. And, we totally get it. You want to play – and especially if you had such a good freshman campaign, you would expect it to continue to play. Well, he hit that portal. Now he is here with the Buffs. And I'm going to be honest, I think he's going to end up taking the top spot, right? Charlie Offerdahl, he just got his scholarship. He's been a workhorse, probably one of the hardest working dudes on the team. So he's going to get his snaps. But I think Hayden's going to end up being RB1. And I've been hearing a little bit and reading up a little bit on Michael Welch as well as Brandon Hood, right? The 2 freshmen transfers in, Micah, a freshman, coming in, and Hood transferred in, if I'm correct, Auburn, him and his brother. That's going to give you a nice, solid running back room, especially after everybody left out. And then you got Isaiah Augusta, who's coming from Arkansas. He's going to add additional to that room. And so The running back room is going to be very interesting here coming into the season, but I do think that Dalen is going to be the one that takes the majority of the snaps. I think he's the one that's going to be your bell cow running back. I mean, he's done it in the Big Ten as far as running for over 100 carries. It tells you that he can understand and handle running the ball. So I think Sherman's going to leverage the run game more, especially with that revamped offensive line. And we'll talk about offensive line in the next video. But the key thing here on the running game is I'm really curious to see how they use Charlie Offerdahl. I wonder how he's going to be leveraged and how you're going to be able to mix in Augusta with Hayden. Because, again, Hayden to me is your number one back. He's the dude that's going to be your bell cow. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, having multiple backs is going to be what's helpful for attrition, health, right? In the way that they're going to be playing the game, especially going into the Big 12. It's going to be a little bit more physical. It'll be, you know, the Pac-12 was physical. I think the Big 12 is going to be even more as they've added these teams. And the other thing is tempo, right? If Sherman runs tempo, kind of similar to Sean Lewis, but not as much speed, you're still going to have to, you know, have guys that's ready to sub in and be able to play. It's not going to be something that's just going to be simple as just going out there and just rolling the ball out. But I think Sherman has a really good plan. He's going to leverage Shedeur for his strengths, but I think he's going to leverage the run game even more. I mean, if history tells us anything from his time in the NFL, we anticipate some run game coming through. So that's the running back room with quarterback. So I think Shedeur and Ryan Staub is going to be your 1-2 there, your 2D. I think in the running back room is going to be Hayden with Offerdahl and mix in a little bit of Gustav and let the young guys, the young pups kind of build up. Tell me what y'all think. Hop in the comments. Let us know your thoughts here. Love to hear from you all on your thoughts on what's going to happen in this depth chart for Colorado. Now, we're going to continue to go through it. The best room, of course, wide receiver room, we're going to be coming up. And the offensive line, which is the most intriguing because they have the most transfers and the most questions because, if anything, we want to know if this line can block and keep Shedeur from being sacked the most in college football again. If the line is shored up, the QB and running back room are probably going to eat this season in the Big 12. Let us know what y'all think there. You can check out the series, you know, right up here above me, as well as feel free to subscribe if you want to see more content. We'll be dropping, like I said, a whole bunch more because here comes the season. We'll talk soon.